When the world is in chaos, how you react to that chaos is going to determine how well you handle it. So there's all of these things happening in society right now, and probably just within your own personal life, right? When that external world of yours becomes chaotic, it becomes uncontrollable, it becomes overwhelming and confusing, what happens at those moments within your own mind is going to determine how well you're able to move forward and mitigate things and solve problems and ultimately live your best life. So we got to understand that there's two worlds going on right now. There's the external world, like your life and what's happening in society, and then there's the internal world. And most people, what happens is when there's chaos around them, automatically, without a doubt, chaos ensues within their own mind, right? Something crazy happens and people flip out, and it's natural, right? It's part of being human. But what we can understand and start to gain the skill of is when there's chaos around us, how do we react to it? How do we react in a way where we can still be centered, where we can still be calm, we can be focused, we can still be at peace, right? Because that is of your own doing. So let's talk about how to bring peace into your life and more control when everything around you just seems to be sort of burning up, right? How do you be cool when outside of you seems like fire? Okay, well, this first starts with understanding that there's these two worlds. There's the external world that we see through social media. We see it through the news. We see it just as we go throughout our everyday life. And then there's this internal world. We all have this perception of what is going on around us. We have this perception of who we are and where we're at in our life. And we have this perception of our past and of our future and of what problems we're dealing with and what's going to come about because of those problems and what needs done in order to solve them, right? There's the external world, there's the internal world. There are things that are external to you that you can control. There are things that are external to you that you cannot, right? So the question is, how do we get ourselves to a state where we are able to best control what is controllable? Where we are able to have this internal world that reflects this sort of precise, comfortable state of being, where when there's fire, we can, in that moment, do our best to put it out while dealing with whatever we are able to control. Okay, so when the things that are external to you are chaotic, the first thing to understand is that your response to that chaos in that moment is key for you to realize. Now, most people, they go throughout their life and they're constantly thinking, right? They think about their past, they think about their future, they think about themselves, they think about problems in their life, they think about what's happening in this world, right? Let's first understand, just break this down into pieces, that when that's happening in the external world, what's going on in the internal world is simply these thoughts and these emotions that are arising because of that stimuli that we were confronted with, that we took in, okay? So we can't necessarily always determine what stimuli gets in front of us, and in many ways we can. You know, you can get off of social media, you can not watch the news, things like that. But when these things are happening, whether you watch the news or you go on social media or not, we're taking in this stimuli and we are automatically interpreting it. And for most people, what's occurring then is that they're thinking about what's happening and they're automatically going down this bunny trail of thought involving what they are thinking about. Okay? And that's how most people live day after day for their entire lives. They are caught up in thought. They're perceiving their reality. They're perceiving themselves. They're perceiving time, past, future, present. And that is what reality is, right? They are 100% caught up in it. Every single thought that they're thinking is reality to them. Although the truth of this situation is, it's that you've got this external reality that's all happening. You've got this internal reality that's all happening. And there are things within this internal world that you are perceiving, that you are holding on to, that you are going with day after day, that you have way more control of than you think. And in order to bring peace into your life when everything around you is chaos, this is the first thing that you must understand. It's that when things go crazy around you and then it seems like mentally things are crazy, you must understand that that is of your own doing. Probably not consciously, not deliberately, but it is arising within your mind. Okay? So let's understand this then. This is arising within your mind. There's chaos outside, there's chaos arising inside. It's arising within your mind. And when do you have control over that, right? I know sometimes it might seem out of control. The bunny trail of thoughts just keeps going. The emotions are just going crazy and it seems like it's uncontrollable, right? When do you have control over what is occurring within your internal reality? The answer is the present moment. So let's understand this. If you have been watching the news or going on social media, as of recently, there's all of these things going on in the world. There always is, right? You're taking in that stimuli, you're perceiving it, and then you are automatically reacting to it. Your mind can go into a fight or flight mode and it just gets activated. And just like that, you just can't stop thinking about it. Your feelings are just all over the place. And most people will just continue to follow along with that and just pay attention to those thoughts, give it every single bit of control over them, and they are basically just drawn completely by them, right? They are pushed and pulled by those thoughts and those emotions. But let's understand, those thoughts and those emotions are arising within the present moment. Therefore, that is when you have control, okay? What we can do is we can understand that although the external world is in chaos, well, within the present moment, we react to it. We start to think these thoughts and perceive things in a certain way and feel a certain way that is arising within the present moment. And what can be done about this is not necessarily needing to change anything external to us in order to bring about peace into our life in that moment. It's to get off of that bunny trail of thought. So it's the bunny trail of thoughts, of negative thinking about worries about the future, etc., that is having us feel a certain way, that's having us feel chaotic, it's having us feel overwhelmed, it's having us feel like we're not in control. That is arising within your own mind, right? It's arising within the present moment. What we can start to understand is that what is peace then? Well, peace isn't you switching off of that bunny trail of thought and then getting on to another one. That's not necessarily peace. I think that's the approach that a lot of people take, is when they're thinking negatively and things are feeling horrible, what they try to do is they try to think positively so that they can feel good, right? Of course, that can help, but when all of the stimuli is around you and it causes that immediate automatic reaction within yourself, switching from that fight or flight state of mind to a rest and digest state of mind is not always the easiest thing to do unless you do what I'm about to tell you. And that is that we want to add peace into your life by subtracting what is having you not feel at peace. So the moment that the negative bunny trail of thoughts and emotions dissipates, that is when peace can automatically arise, right? We don't need to add peace into your life, so to speak. What we need to do is we need to take out the things that are preventing you from being able to experience peace, right? So if there's, for instance, a deer in a field and he was just attacked by something, by some sort of, larger animal, it experiences this fight or flight panic response. And for deer, at least, not humans, when that threat is gone, what they're able to do is they're able to simply relax again. But with us, what we do is we experience that threat, and then within our mind, we continue to replay that threat. And even when we are completely safe, we can get right back into that moment of when we felt threatened, and we can relive it constantly, day after day. And it's all due to our thinking. So within the present moment, you're thinking. You have this internal world that says threat, 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 right? There is something that needs to be dealt with. There's chaos around me. For all of the time that you remain on that chaotic bunny trail of thoughts and feelings, that threat, that feeling of there being a threat is going to be there. When we can remove, not even necessarily the threat, but we can remove what is causing us to interpret that threat, which is just this way of thinking, then we are able to bring about peace. It's sort of like we have all of this, the threat is holding a cork underwater. It is weighing on us. Some people live their entire lives just being pushed down by this threat, whatever it may be. When the threat is able to dissipate, the cork can automatically arise and peace can be felt. So this is a skill that one can obtain. When somebody can do this, they can bring that peace into their life, but not just that, they can move forward in a way in which they truly desire to move forward. They can understand that this is the situation. Yes, there's these threats around me, but I'm going to control what I can control. I'm going to be in the best state of mind possible in order for me to be centered, to be focused, to be clear-headed, and to be able to remain calm, and to be able to, because of that, act in a way that allows me to move forward with life and solving these potential problems as well in the best way possible. So to sum this up and to dig a little bit deeper, you must understand that there's the external world, there's this chaos. We take in that stimuli, it causes chaos in the mind. That chaos in the mind is brought into your life and your reality by the thoughts that you are thinking. It's this bunny trail of thought that you find yourself on for all the time that you're focusing on that threat. You are feeling the threat, you're feeling threatened, and for all of the time you're in that, even though the threat may be not immediate to you, if that is what is happening within your mind, then that is the reality that you are experiencing. But what I'm saying is when you can let go of that bunny trail of thought and you can be present instead of caught up in your head just constantly thinking and identified with those thoughts and treating them as your reality, that is when the cork can rise up. That is when you can experience a level of clear-headedness and calm and comfort that is necessary in order for you to move forward in the best way possible. And that is how you can have peace when the world around you is chaotic. Let's understand that it can only occur within this present moment of you watching this. So we finish up this video, I want you to understand that there are thoughts arising within your mind. You're thinking about certain things. Those thoughts are causing you to feel and perceive the world and yourself and your life in a certain way. And if those thoughts are causing you to feel this stress and this feeling of unease and chaos, understand that it's not necessarily the world itself that's causing you to feel that way. It's the thoughts that you're thinking. And our thoughts have an amazing power for us to feel and live a certain way. So within the present moment, those thoughts are arising. That means that within the present moment, that is when the thoughts can dissipate. And one of the best ways to allow those thoughts to dissipate is to be here. And what I mean by that is I want you to realize that there's all of this stuff going on in the world external to you. Right now, your actual present moment, the actual reality of your life that is not just perceived via thought, is you looking at this screen and watching this video. You're seeing my yellow shirt, you're seeing the painting behind me, the lights, you're seeing these things. You can look around your external environment, you can see what is around you depending on where you're at. You can hear my voice. You feel different sensations right now. You feel maybe hot or cold. You feel some discomfort in some areas of your body, maybe. Maybe you have an itch. There's all of this stimuli that is immediately occurring around you that you can bring into your awareness, and that is your present moment. Your present moment lies well beyond these thoughts that you are constantly thinking. Your actual reality is beyond the chaos that comes about when you interpret what's going on in your external world and you begin to think about it. So there's three things here. There's the chaos in the world that's happening. There's always something going on, right? You take in that chaos, it comes into your mental internal world, and most people get caught up in thought and they live within that world. But then there's also the world of presence, which is, it's coming from consciousness, but what's happening is that it is beyond thought reality. When you live your life, realize that you're constantly thinking about what you're living. You're thinking about what you did live in your past. You're thinking about what you could live in your future, but your actual reality is right now. Understanding that there's two sort of modes of living. One is being caught up in thought and interpreting your reality through thought. The second mode is of presence, and that's being here in this moment, witnessing thoughts for what they are. They're just thoughts, right? Some of them are emotionally charged. That's okay. You can witness them. You can be aware of those thoughts, but you can still begin to realize that your actual reality is right here. It's not up there with your thoughts and all of the topics of life that you're thinking about. Your actual reality is here. You, watching this video, hearing these words. And from this moment on, you have the ability to decide in which world you want to live. You can live in the world where you're constantly thinking, you're constantly identified with those thoughts, and you're just going along with your own perception of reality that is coming about because of that bunny trail of thought. Or you can live in a world where the bunny trail of thought may occur, but you can see it for what it is. You can see it as a bunny trail of thought. You can see the emotions as just emotions. It's totally okay to think about all of these things. It's totally okay to feel the way that you feel, but you can witness that all of that is just conscious phenomenon arising within the present moment. You can witness it arise. You can witness it dissipate. Your thoughts are constantly changing. Your emotions are constantly changing. And you can come from that space. And when we can come from that space, that is when we are able to sort of detach from what has been having us bring in the external world, all the chaos that's going on, and feel chaotic, when we can be aware of the internal chaos that is happening and we can change our relationship to it. That is when we can let go of it. We can watch it arise, we can watch it fall, we can be here in this moment. We can allow the bunny trail of thought to lift up, to dissipate, and just like a cork being held below water, that resistance can be let go. The cork can automatically rise, and you can experience peace through the subtraction of what is preventing you to be able to experience it. Take that, realize that in every single moment of your waking life, that is how life can be perceived. No matter what is going on around you in the external world, there's still this internal world that you can learn how to be more in control of it. And you do that by changing your level of awareness of what is arising within consciousness, within the moment, and within your body and your mind. And you can watch it arise, you can watch it fall, you can watch it dissipate, and you can just be here now. You can do that literally anytime that you want. That power is 100% in your control. So use it whenever you can. Just remember that there will be times when you are caught up in that bunny trail of thought and you will not even think about the fact that this possibility is there for you in that moment. But realize that it always is. Realize that the reason why it feels like it's not possible for you is because you're on that bunny trail of thought, and that is your perception of reality at that moment. But understand that when you change your awareness of all of that to like how we discussed, that is when you can simply allow it to arise, allow it to fall, dissipate, go away. You can bring yourself back into the present moment. You can see things for how it truly is. And you can then, from that moment on, move forward how you want to move forward, making the decisions that you want to make, taking the actions that you want to make, and simply not being so controlled by what's going on around you, but instead controlling, being able to better manage what is happening internally within you, so that from then on, you can move forward how you please. So I hope this helped you. If you have any questions, comment below. Please like this video, subscribe to watch the next one. I will see you then.